Yo, 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 it is your guy. It is me. It is Corey. Duh. Man. We ready to get right into it. Yeah. I think I seen some of this guy's video. Not this video, but like videos. It's 32 minutes. We're not gonna watch the whole 32 minutes. Y'all know that.
25 news and details. Without further delay, here's the interview. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Shoot. I am joined today by the lead designer of the Universe Mode, Cristo. Cristo, it is a pleasure to have you back on the show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. Always happy to talk with you about 2K25.
Yeah, man. 2K25 was a huge year for the Universe Mode. We've gotten many updates, which is crazy in a way because when the game started advertising all the new features coming into 2K25, we didn't hear that much about the Universe Mode. We really only heard that promos were coming back, but we got the surprise features of the calendars and some new rival reactions and some other hidden gems along the way in Universe Mode. How was this going into developing WWE 2K25? How did it make it different this year compared to others?
So I think one thing that really stands out is when it came to the promos, like this is a brand new system that we did from scratch. Nothing was recycled from the previous system. So all new mocap, new animations, all the code, all the data, everything in there kind of went in from scratch. And it was one of those things where we kind of went in a little nervous, like this is a lot to do for like it's just 1 year to kind of get all that stuff in. But it was really one of those things where we kind of got that push with like, we really need to make an effort to get some sort of promo in there. It might not be the perfect picture. I kind of talked about some of the difficulties and challenges of what, a new promo system might look like the last time we talked.
Yeah.
But I think what we kind of came out with in that short of span, I'm really proud of the work that our team did. Personally, I think it's really cool. And yeah, and I think some of the reception's been really good around it too. So
yeah, I mean,
people are enjoying it.
Yeah, listen, Universe Mode is always like the fan favorite mode. And I think I speak for most of the community besides, like the Creation Suite is one of those fan favorites also. But for the most part, man, I think that the fans that play the game, the majority of fans that play the game, root for the Universe Mode the most, right? So that's probably why, like, I don't know, some Twitter backlash happens sometimes if certain things don't happen in Universe Mode, because I think that people just cheer you guys on, man, because this is the mode that the people enjoy playing the most, man. And I think that you guys did a bang up job this year, especially with the updates that we've gotten, a couple months into the game. So, once again, the new calendar system, the rival reactions and the promos, which personally I enjoy. I would much rather, and this might give me some hate online, I don't care, but I much rather enjoy the promos that you have set up this year in the promo system, because I can see that it can build to better things later, and without all the fluffy dialogue that we used to have back in, like, what was it, 2K20 I think was the last one that had promos, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2K20, 2K19, just promos that didn't really fit the character work. And this one, I feel like, kind of just gets right into what you're trying to do with the promo on the Universe Mode. Was it difficult incorporating promos? Because I know that you guys were probably set out to do the calendar and the 2-day PLEs. That was probably on the list, last year. But promos, when I talked to you at Creator Fest, that was kind of like one of those, hey, we got to get this in before the deadline.
Yeah, so that was something we had done. It was in a pretty good shape, right? I feel like when we were at Creator Fest, so that was in there and working. I think something we really did with the promos, and I think you leaned into, is like, what do the promos lead to, right? In my mind, when designing this early on, was, if we can't really get the superstar VO and really getting that, capturing every superstar and kind of like their microphone presentation. One thing that stuck out to me, is then what makes promo special, it's what do they lead into? What can they lead into? And so seeing those moments where, like, they go into matches right away, or they, they lead to a future match, or maybe they, superstar puts a stipulation on themselves. I think that's something that's really fun to sort of explore and get, those things set up into the future. So that was one thing we really leaned on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's different branching options too for the promos. And speaking of, was there any consideration of maybe adding different locations to cut the promos from in a rivalry action, like backstage, on the stage, locker room, etc.? Did you guys ever think about maybe incorporating that, or?
There's definitely a lot of areas we want to explore with that, because we're not done with the promo system yet. For future iterations, we definitely want to expand on this. This is not just like a one and done thing. You guys asked for it, so here you go. No,
Right.
like we're happy with how it turned out. We really want to make it bigger and better, though, for sure. So more areas where they could happen is definitely one of our considerations. But for this year, like, we really wanted to focus on, like, let's make sure this works in one specific spot.
Going into like the universe mode, everything, I think it's safe to say that everything is tied into rivalry actions, right? So we get the cutscenes, all the promos, everything. Is that kind of is it more difficult to incorporate everything within a rivalry action, or is there another workaround to put certain cutscenes within the game?
So there's definitely a couple systems when we look at how all these kind of cutscenes play out, right? Through regular gameplay, you might see like a run-in sort of scenario happen, right? That kind of lives in its own system.
Okay.
But we've worked with our promo system and all these other kind of background systems to kind of like make sure they connect with each other and that they're compatible. Things like objectives, you see in showcases, the same system that we're using for setting up these self promo challenges in the future. So we're really unifying a lot of how all this stuff works together. That was a bit of a challenge to kind of set up for 25, but now that we kind of are in a good spot, we can really just build on that and things get really flexible.
Awesome. So you mentioned certain cut scenes like run-ins and stuff live in their own little world. Is there any way to incorporate more of that in a future iteration of the game? Something like, superstars arriving to the building at the beginning of a show, or even, the show intros that everybody still wants back. Is that still thought of, or is it all going to be tied into rivalry actions from here on out?
So we're definitely looking at some of those things for sure. Like, there's a lot that we want to do. Not all of it makes it in every year for various reasons, but they don't all have to necessarily rely on rivalry actions. We can build those out as we need to. But the way we've kind of set things up is that it's just easy to expand upon that stuff and, keep building it up.
Copy that. Is there any plans to maybe, I've noticed in like, a lot of the cutscenes and rivalry actions that they're not really match specific. Is there any way to add a match specific rivalry action, like casket matches, Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell, or any cinematic things that indicate what type of match you're going to have at the PLE?
They would have to. I think one of the challenges with that is that we need to have the cutscenes kind of built around those. So anything with the casket match, there's the interaction with the casket, and it kind of limits it to just that one interaction. Whereas some of these ones with like, mid-match distractions or pre-match attacks or whatever, those are typically more flexible, unless you get something with like a steel cage or Hell in a Cell, anything that's surrounding the ring, preventing that sort of cut off from, the ring and the ringside.
All right, I think we heard enough. So I think basically you said they're just working on universe mode to expand it. I see that as address to reported concerns. Anyways, I'm out of here.